The lost cabin. There is a lost cabin out there somewhere in these woods. Where it is, I wish I knew, but if I did, then the cabin would no longer be lost. And with all the history located up here at this lake and the surrounding woods, both public and private, I am not surprised that such a cabin exists. Even though the available evidence is circumstantial at best, accompanied by the fact that I've never seen it myself, I know that it's out there. The evidence that is out there consists of abnormal flattening of meadow grass, strange imprints in clearings, even patches of wooded areas with the trees, stones, and patches of dirt having been forcibly cleared aside to make room for what appears to be the foundation of some kind of building. But the most frequent pieces of evidence available are that of first-hand accounts. Most of these accounts consist of people spotting the cabin in passing. What would happen is that people would pass by an area where they caught something unusual from the corner of one eye, and when their minds are able to process what they saw, they have already passed it by. If they try and backtrack to get a better view of what they saw, the cabin would be gone. If they do get a clear view of it the first time around, but are unable to get a closer look because of some other pressing matter, they make note of it for future investigation. But when it comes time for them to take a closer look, the cabin would be gone once again. However, there have been a few situations where the cabin was spotted by a passerby and was able to be viewed and analyzed immediately. This type of encounter would consist primarily of hikers, both on the experienced and casual level, coming across it while traveling through the woods. Sometimes the lost cabin would be located near some other cabins, making people think that the lost cabin is just another building that is meant to be there. Other times, however, it's unmistakable that it's the lost cabin because it's located in a spot where a cabin shouldn't belong. In these types of situations, it's located in the extremely deep woods where no drivable roads or highways are near, making accessibility by people very difficult. It's accompanied by the fact that the surrounding woods are encroaching heavily upon the cabin from the top, bottom, and every possible side. It's as if the lost cabin is in some kind of bubble that is pushing out upon the environment, even causing some of the surrounding trees to bend and snap in unusual and unnatural ways. When these people try and approach the cabin, something will always get in the way of the individual approaching or entering the structure. One such restriction is that the person is physically incapable of approaching the cabin, despite the fact that there is nothing present that prevents them from approaching. Other times, the person will become physically sick or ill as they approach, which would become exponentially worse as they get closer, with the only way of alleviating the problem would be to retreat to the point where the illness would disappear. But if someone is able to get close to the cabin, so close that they are able to make physical contact, they aren't able to get in. The doors won't open and the windows won't budge. Some have even tried to break in, but to no avail. The lost cabin is impenetrable. Those who are relentless about trying to enter the cabin suffer the consequences because of it. On occasion, when the cabin has been spotted, people have reported seeing individuals mingling around the structure. Such individuals have never been given a clean or clear description, but the most common characteristic of these apparitions would be that of a glowing light that they would emit. They would possess a variety of different colors as well, but the most common would be that of green. The brightness of their glows would also vary in intensity. There is one eyewitness account that stands out clearly for me, and it involves spotting one of these apparitions mingling around the cabin while the cabin was spotted at the meadow found at Huckleberry. When spotted, the cabin was pretty far back in the meadow, situated up against the tree line. Standing just outside of the cabin's front door on the cabin's porch was an individual wearing what looked like a bombardier's jacket. As the witnesses to this particular event have stated, they said that the apparition wearing the bombardier's jacket appeared to notice the witnesses. Upon doing so, the apparition appeared to put down the cup that he was holding onto the railing and reaches for something located just inside the cabin. What the apparition reached for isn't known because the witnesses left in such a hurry that they weren't able to see what it grabbed. So this lost cabin is a bit of a mystery, for its nature is unknown, and the next time that it will appear, or where it will be spotted next, cannot be known or predicted. However, if anybody would know this fact, then it has to be the lady. Who this lady is as much a mystery as the cabin is. But what is known is that the lady is notoriously tight-lipped about the matter, and refuses to share what she knows beyond that of an intrepid few. With these intrepid few, they are entrusted with her knowledge, but those who dare to betray her trust will be punished for their misdeed. And if they made any kind of recording pertaining to this shared knowledge, it tends to disappear. Whoever this lady is, it appears that it is her responsibility to protect this cabin. However, she isn't above sharing some insight about it with others, as long as they are capable of keeping her secret. Maybe it's a way of rewarding a person's hard work. But despite everything surrounding it, it doesn't deter people from trying to find this lost cabin. And who knows, the next person to spot it just might be you.